Welcome back to my watercolor series. Today we are going to do a Moody tree scene. Using the 6 pine trees that I taught in the last video, we are going to take our favorite techniques and apply them into a landscape scene. This landscape scene will have 3 layers. The background layer will be the lightest and lowest saturation. As we move to the middle layer, we will increase that contrast, make the colors a little bit more saturated and a little darker. And our last final top layer will be the most contrast, the darkest colors, and they will be all the way up in the front. So a lot like that atmospheric perspective that I talked about in our previous landscape videos. So I'm going to begin by preparing my palette. Remember from color theory, in order to make a color less saturated, which means not as vibrant, we want it to look a little bit more faded, a little bit more neutral towards a brown. In order to make a color that way, I am going to mix complementary colors together. So for my yellow, in order to tone it down, I'm going to put a little bit of purple into it. For my green, I'm going to put a little bit of red. And for my blue, I'm going to add a little bit of orange to my color. You will also see me add a little bit of black into my blue to make it a nice dark blue. These are all some rich jewel tones that I want to use for my landscape scene, but you can go ahead and choose whatever colors are speaking to you today. So let's get started. Let's tone those down. Let's get them pretty watered down and begin our background layer. These colors will be the lightest and the least contrast. We want them to be pretty faded, so I have them pretty watered down. I start to build in patches in about the middle of my page. You can see that I also add a ground line, and I'll keep adding onto that as I move across the page. It's okay to overlap. Choose your favorite trees from our practice video and add these to your page. I keep adding different patches and I let the colors blend together. This can happen because the paint is still wet, so the watercolor lets us extend itself and blend into the page. Throughout this video, you're going to see me tap into a color and then just dab into a wet area so that I let those colors just flow together. Once we let that first layer dry, we can start to add our second layer. You're going to see that I add another ground. It's all going to be much more contrast, much more vibrant, but not the most. The last layer is going to be the darkest and most vibrant. So I keep adding some trees. I look at where I made some mistakes from the first area and I cover them with some overlaps. I like to create variety with using different types of trees. I'm increasing my contrast of those colors, making them a little bit more vibrant. I like to keep some patches in between the trees to make it look more like a natural scene. I love to keep creating some variety in my trees. Some are shorter, some are taller, some are blocking, some are keeping gaps, some are a different color. And I just keep dabbing in the different colors that I've prepared in my palette. For our last layer in our Moody winter scene, these trees are going to be the largest. They're going to cover some parts of the middle and background layer. These trees are also going to have the most contrast and then will be a little bit lower on the composition so that they come forward in the scene. I hope you find ways to take these tips and tricks for creating a moody winter scene with pine trees and make it your own unique vision. Remember to start off with a very pale, light background, and as you move forward in the middle and foreground layers, you're going to slowly increase vibrancy, saturation, and contrast. Have fun!